Welcome to Season 3 of the M-W Tactical Podcast. Sit back and enjoy the conversations with the mad scientist and myself as we discuss the sport of shooting, goals, training, and everyday life. You are listening to the M-W Tactical Podcast. All right, good people. We're back at it again with another installation of the M-W Tactical Podcast. And this episode is bought by the match sponsors for the 2021 South Carolina Sectional. Blazon Apparel, Akai Custom Guns, and Brazos Customs. These are all the match sponsors for the upcoming sectional. But as we always do, we got to introduce who we are. So, of course, I am your host, Michael Woodland, for the M-W Tactical Podcast. And sitting across from me is the one and only, my buddy, the encyclopedia for competition shooting, the mad scientist himself, Dave. What's going on, Dave?
What's going on, Mike? Sometimes I feel like I don't know, when you message me and ask questions about gun stuff, I feel like I get too carried away and technical with everything. But that's my job, I guess, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I look at it like more of instruction, because if you give too little, it's going to be searching for more. But if you give too much, that's probably what the other side is looking for.
Well, I don't know. I got a lot of knowledge in there to share, and I'm welcome to share and help any way I can.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I want to go ahead and talk about the North Carolina State match, because last week we said we was going to build up from where we left off at.
That's right. Yeah, after we left off on Area 6.
Correct. And the next match we actually did was the North Carolina State match. So I wanted to go ahead and start it off with giving you the opportunity to state, what did you think about the match? How did you come into it? And what was your game plan?
All right. So I really enjoyed the match to start off with. I really had a great time. It's one of these matches that is run like our style, like we're going to do the South Carolina section match coming up in 2021. Like Georgia has done some of their matches. It was the half-day format kind of thing where you can shoot the AM or PM squatting, very small squads. You shoot a whole level 2 match in half a day. And I've never been to this range before, and it's not really that far from us. It was, what did it take, like 2.5 hours to drive there? Was it?
I'll say about 2 hours.
2 hours? Yeah, it wasn't far. And I've never been to the range, but it was a very nice facility. And they're actually hosting the Area 6 match next year. So we get to go back for that as well. I didn't have a specific plan going into the match. I just I wanted to shoot my game, and I ended up second overall. Almost won the thing. I think I came in second by like less than 0.5% or something. I almost won the match overall, which I was really happy about. I shot a lot of points. And that the way the bays were set up, the stages they weren't very large. There was a couple of bays that we had some pretty big stages, but the majority of them were kind of small, but they still allowed for or the designs of the stages were still kind of technical. Some of them, had a couple different swingers and different activator sequences on the same stage. It was interesting. It was a real fun match. We shot it very quickly. I think we shot it in the morning and we were done by, I want to say it was like 11:30. We were finished and we went and got some lunch. I don't know if it was that early or not, but I think they did a really great job running the match. And my squad actually started on stage 1, which was on bay 1. and we worked all the way. We shot all the way down to the last stage, stage 10, and they actually had some guys with golf cars there to drive us back all the way back up to the range, and they just dropped me off right at my truck. I felt like a rock star shooting that match, man. It was awesome. I went down, shot the whole match in like 2.5 hours. It felt like.
Right.
They drove me back to the truck. I packed my stuff up and left. Went to lunch. It was great. I really enjoyed it.
Well, I went into the match. I don't know what took place. Was it? Did I think I? Oh yeah, what it was the weekend before. I shot a local match up in Spartanburg, and I got DQ'd at that match.
The
So
trigger deal.
yeah, because of the light trigger, and I came into the North Carolina State match with low confidence, and I was thinking too much instead of just performing. And everybody was telling me, just do you, just do you. You got it, you got it. But
Yeah, well, that's easier said than done.
yeah,
Sometimes.
and that's what it is. And I was just more terrified of getting a DQ at a higher level match. And then too, me and Lucky had the bet going on, and I was like, okay, I can't afford to let him win another one, so I have to win this one. Um, but like I said, I went into it with low confidence, and the first stage, it literally showed, and everybody said it to me. It was only 3 people, but they came up to me and they was like, "You're shooting way too conservative." All right. And I was like, yeah, first stage jitters, I'm trying to play it off. And got to the second stage, and the second stage was I think you were sitting back watching that one.
I watched a couple.
Yeah, I think you was watching that one. And that was the one whereas it was a Hunter HD Gold stage, and it had the swinger, whereas you shoot the 2 stills, the paper, and then the swinger.
Yeah, yeah,
Come back
yeah.
around on the top.
That was a fun stage. I like that one.
Yeah, that was a fun stage. So as soon as I did that one, whatever I told myself or whoever said what to me, because normally before a match, I got to get words from Wally. I got to get words of encouragement from Wally. And it seems like every time I get words of encouragement from Wally, I have the best match ever. And
Did you talk to him before that?
no, I didn't.
Before that stage?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
But whoever said something to me or whatever I was thinking, it put me right back into my game mode. And I went into that stage smoking. The only thing I was just waiting on that swinger for one shot because I didn't want to leave because I wasn't confident on the swinging cadence.
Yeah, that one of them was pretty fast.
Yeah, that first one was. So I went ahead and I caught it on the second one, came around the corner, shot the one or two that was behind that barrel, and then
There were
that other
two, yeah.
swinger, that other swinger, I put one shot on it, and then all of a sudden I had a malfunction. Started racking the slide, hitting doing sports, pulled the trigger, nothing. All right. Rack the slide again, rounds are coming out, pointed it, and I was like, oh man, something happened. Change the magazine. Rack the slide, same thing, nothing.
Crap.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah. And then I turned around.
Oh,
and,
I do remember seeing that now. I remember
yeah.
seeing that.
And so I went ahead and I'm sitting there, and it's about 2 minutes now. I'm still trying to fix it. And I was like, what is going on here? This never happened before. All right.
That was the
It was a squib.
squib. Yeah, I remember that one now.
Round got lodged into the barrel. So luckily it swelled up the barrel, whereas it wouldn't put it back in the battery.
It was very close. I remember it now. It was almost chambering another round.
Yeah. So it was you and I. We went to the safe area, and I was so upset. You was like, get the magazines, because I was about to put them on the table.
Oh God, yeah, you were about to get DQ'd right there in front of me.
Yeah. So I went ahead and just tossed them into the cart and came back, and I was like, oh my goodness, this can't be happening. This can't be happening.
I did. I looked around. I was getting kind of loud, and I shouldn't have,
right?
Because other people were hearing me and started to look, and almost saw you put magazines on the safe table. So, oh crap.
Yeah. So then like when the ROs was coming over to me with the score pad, the one female RO, she kept stating that she was like, yeah, you only missed one target. You only missed one target. And it didn't register in my mind that I did hit the one swinger one time, but I only got the 2 mics and failure to engage on that one target.
Yeah, so it ended up not really being that big of a deal. You were standing there fighting with the gun for a long time,
Yeah.
but your time had already stopped.
Right.
Like you didn't fire a shot after that. So it didn't, your stage time was still pretty decent.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was something, and it literally took me going to the next stage to get the mindset to say, okay, it didn't hurt me that bad, because I had to remember a conversation you and I had about points before. And then when I started doing the calculation of points, I was like, oh, I'm in a better position than I thought I was. So I
Yeah,
went
so
on
it's
ahead.
only like a 20-point penalty or something for that,
Yeah, it wasn't much.
the
It
whole
wasn't
deal.
much. So I was like, okay, I'm
It's
still
like 2
good.
targets.
Yeah. So let's take a quick commercial break, come back into it, and then I'll tell you about the rest of the North Carolina State match that took place.
Hey, this is Brian Conley at Hunters HD Gold. If you've never tried Hunters HD Gold, then I challenge you to find me at a match next year. Go to the website under scheduled events, find out where I'm going to be. Come meet me in person and demo a pair for yourself. Find out why shooters across the United States are changing to Hunters HD Gold to get 43% more light to their eyes, better contrast, eyes that are not fatigued at the end of the day based on the colors that we use, and find out the real meaning of why they change so you don't have to. So check us out on our website, huntershdgold.com, and I look forward to seeing you at the range soon.
JM4 Tactical has developed a state-of-the-art polymer holster that will quickly become your go-to holster. With high-quality Herman oak leather securely sewn to the interior of the molded outer bolt-on shell, your draw becomes silent and no more scratches up and down your firearm. When seconds count, you can rest assured that you will have the upper hand when you need it most. Whether you carry open or concealed, the Relic holster is available in 4 different models, fitting over hundreds of different style guns. The new reliable, easy, light, individual carry holster by JM4 Tactical. Order your Relic today at jm4tactical.com.
Are you in the market to purchase your first or next firearm, but find the atmosphere of a gun store intimidating, crowded, or uninviting? There's a way for you to purchase the gun you want while avoiding the crowds, the gruff salesmen, and the marked up prices that come with a brick and mortar gun store. The process is called a transfer, where the purchase is made at an online store and sent to a federally licensed middleman called an FFL, who processes the paperwork and background check for a firearm purchase. CAE Transfers is the FFL with the lowest transfer cost in the Midlands at only $20 or $15 with the presentation of a South Carolina concealed weapons permit and $10 for repeat customers. If you live in Columbia, South Carolina or its surrounding areas, choose CAE Transfers as your FFL during checkout and let me help you complete your online gun purchase. You can find and follow CAE Transfers online at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram using @CAE Transfers. Thank you for your business, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Here we go, coming back into it. So the next stage was the first stage going around that bend. Because you remember how you said you had stage 1, and I think it was the first 3, then you had to go around that deep corner. So
Yeah.
the next stage was the first stage around the deep corner. It was the more open bay, whereas a lot of people ran that one kind of different with that center shot. Some people ran up on it. Some people took it back from the start position.
Yeah, that one was interesting. It's very big bay.
Yeah, it was
very
very
big stage.
And after that stage, that's when it hit me like, oh, okay, I'm still in a good position. And then me and Lucky, because we was on the same squad, Lucky kept talking to me and he kept saying like, hey man, look, you're still in it, right? And you got to do this, you got to do that. And next thing you know, you're going to inch your way back into it. So by the time he started talking to me, I had already came to that conclusion. right? But one thing was Lucky, he stayed in my ear the whole match. Like, hey man, put your best foot forward, let's do this, come on, do this for this. And like he was like words of encouragement for the match.
Did that help you? Did it help you kind of stable out?
Yes and no. The yes reason was because even though there was a friendly competition amongst us, he wasn't already beating a horse that was already down. He was like, okay, let me help you get back on your feet.
Oh
All right,
yeah,
let me
man.
let me give you these words of encouragement. Let's do this. Let's do this. And I can respect that because even like when I was in high school, playing basketball, I was still that type person. I wouldn't talk smack to you unless you was at the top of your game. I wouldn't play you hard unless you was at the top of your game because I want you to play hard against me just as
Sure.
hard as I'm
Well,
playing against you.
we're doing it for fun. That's the only way it's fun when it's,
Yeah, exactly.
you're competing at, the level that you are. If you have some stupid malfunction or something
Yeah.
crazy
So
happen, then
the best part about that whole match was I ended up inching my way back into the fight. It came down to stage 1 and literally Lucky got me by less than 0.01%.
0.01.
It was that close.
That is really close. I wasn't that close to first. I was
Yeah. But like I said,
some
it was a
half
good
percentage.
match.
That's
It,
crazy.
it was a
Yeah.
good match. And we both were sitting there saying, like, yo, this is something that should have been like recorded and televised and like made it into like a little TV show, like don't give up the fight and all this and that. So
That would have been a cool reality show.
yeah, that would have been really cool. Then turned around and he ended up winning that one. So that one put him ahead. And it was 5-4, however it went. Fast forward to the day because we didn't shoot another match together. No, I think we did. We did the Georgia State match. And I ended up getting him on the Georgia State match. But the way it turned out was even if we went into Toys for Tots as it was, it would have either ended in a tie or it would have ended him winning. So when we took the CRO course, we had to build 3 stages for the CRO course. And he was like, yo, let's do this because if you happen to win this, then we're going into Toys for Tots for a tie. But if not, I won. So I didn't have like none of my correct gear with me. I didn't have a knee brace on. I didn't have my spike shoes on. I just went for the class. So I wasn't in game mode.
Yeah.
So we went ahead, we did it. And literally, once again, Lucky got me by 1 point.
Gosh.
It was that close. And I was like, holy cow.
Well, that's yeah.
But Derek Hernandez, he made up a good point. He was like, if it would have been 4 stages, right, it would have been a good competition. But by it being 3 stages and the way the points were stacked up with targets and all that, it really wasn't one that you really want to call a good competition.
Yeah, 3 stages isn't enough to.
Yeah,
but it is fun for the game. Whatever.
Yeah, I was like, so what we decided to do was go ahead and call in. Lucky won the match through the season, and then when we go into Toys for Tots, it's another bragging rights match right there.
Okay.
Yeah,
Toys for Tots championship.
But one thing Lucky failed to realize is I got home court advantage. I'm bringing a squad of people who going to also donate toys and watch the match. So I might get them to heckle him or something during the match.
Did you design a stage for the match?
Yes,
no?
Actually, me and Miss Linda, we talked about it. All the stages that I send to you to proof before I do anything with them, I send those to Miss Linda also. So like, y'all can share them amongst all the other match directors in the area and people can use them for the match. But she actually hit me up last night and she asked me for the stage that I designed for the CRO class and then just make a few minor tweaks with it. And they was going to use it during the match because I thought she said she was going to use another one of my stages. you know, and the
Okay,
Toys for
cool.
Tots stage that I did, that was the one I did back in April when I first signed up for the CRO course. But when I sent it to you, you was the one that said, don't make no corrections, because when you go through the course, you're going to learn how to make it good and what to look for and everything. So I was like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the course.
Right.
You know, if there are issues with the design, that's part of what they do in the class. They bring it up and,
Right.
you know, show you what to look for and teach you how to move stuff around or whatever. But
Yeah, but I found it very interesting overall. So the class, it did open my mind a little bit more when it comes to stage designs, and I do
oh
see
yeah,
what
yeah,
you
yeah,
said about,
definitely.
like, I went back and looked at all the stages I designed, and every time when you keep telling me like, man, you love riding that 180, don't you?
You do. You definitely do.
I see it now. I see it
Okay,
now.
good. Good.
But like I said, I do believe that class actually did spike my interest more to get more into stage designing. And like I said, I'm really looking forward to the South Carolina sectional, where I will be actually doing CRO duties. So
Yeah, well, uh, there used to be a lot more stage design stuff in that class. That's kind of what it was, what the class is for, to get you more involved in the stage designing and knowing how a stage should be set up and run. Because as a chief range officer on a stage, you have your range officers that are essentially working for you. So you know you were the one responsible for that stage running properly and safely. So you know it the point of the class is to get you more involved in that and stage design, so you can pick out possible problems, you know, that could come up, you know, as shooters are coming through or whatever. But I enjoyed it too. It's a good class.
yeah, like I said, I really did enjoy it. I enjoyed the challenging aspect with arbitration, because I did not
That's tough.
understand how arbitration played out. But of course, when we went through the class, it was broken down as to, okay, this just happened. This is what you got to do. This is your time window. Now, this is what y'all got to do. And that made it fun. But we didn't know half the stuff going into the arbitration, because we broken down into teams.
Yeah.
And when we realized it was another portion, like who said what, who did what, and what the RO said compared to what the other competitors said, we didn't get that portion of it from the start. So it kind of took us a longer route, and we foobarred it, you know. But listening to the other two teams that did it, they actually got the gist of who did what, who said what, and it made everything make more sense. So, but one thing I did discover on that portion of the class is I don't want to be no parts of an arbitration.
No, it's not fun. But I mean, it's good that it's there as, you know, an option for the shooter when something crazy comes up. I was actually involved in one of the arbitrations at a Georgia's sectional match a couple years ago.
Right.
And it's, you know, usually it's not too bad if you got a good team you're working with. You just have to figure out the details, figure out the facts and what actually happened. And um, it's not fun. No one wants to, you know, cost a shooter a match or placement or whatever, you know, whatever's going on. But that's part of the game is range officers. I mean, that's what we have to do.
Yeah. But I would encourage anybody who is an RO right now, take the time to try to get the CRO class. It is very beneficial. I think it is, at least. I learned a lot. And even when I was an RO, I took an RO class in Myrtle Beach one year. A year later, I did the RO class again. And it was like what I was thinking, because of course, the first time I went into the course, it was the fire hose to my mouth, and I didn't grasp everything that I was supposed to
Yeah.
grasp. But that's why, like a lot of times when I be on the range, I was always asking a lot of questions. So between Jenny, Wally, you, Tom, and Miss Linda, I was always asking y'all all the questions. And the second time I went to the RO class, that filled in those blanks. Whereas now I know what to do, where to look, and how to handle those questions that I possibly had.
Yeah, I mean, you cover a lot in the basic RO course, but you still are not going to know everything. It really, a lot of it, you get a good understanding of how the matches run, how the stages are run, and what you're supposed to do. But it really takes some effort and getting out there and actually running stages, running the timer.
Yeah.
And these unique situations that pop up, you're not going to see them at every match. It's just, sometimes some weird stuff happens, and that's where the experience, comes from, and you learn, how to address those situations.
Right. But like I said, overall, great class. What actually ended up taking place with me at Area 6 with that one stage, whereas it didn't activate, and the RO told me you got to activate it. I actually gave that video to the instructor, and I told him, if y'all want to use it for learning, you're more than welcome to. So.
What was that? Tell me that again. I don't remember that. You had an
Okay.
activator that didn't work?
Yeah, I thought I told you about this. And well, I put the video on Instagram and Facebook also.
Sure.
So what actually ended up taking place at Area 6, there was one stage that I was on, and it was a prop in the stage, whereas you had to hit the PVC pipe with your hand to activate the swinger.
Yeah, I remember that one. I actually have a scar on my knee that will be there forever from that activator.
Yeah. So what happened with me, I hit the activator with my hand, and the PVC pipe came from under the table away from the prop. And I'm sitting there hitting the table with my hand. I'm looking at the RO, but I'm waiting for him to say stop because the prop wasn't activated. His command to me was, you got to activate it, buddy. And I'm sitting there.
You did tell me that. I remember that now.
And I'm sitting there looking. I was about to say something, but then I was like, no, finish the course of fire and then present your argument. So I went ahead and, shot at the target, even though it wasn't swinging. And then I went in and I finished it. And then they gave me the commands. And then once I put it in the holster, I told them, hey, because that target didn't activate, that you should have yelled stop back there. And that was an automatic reshoot.
Yeah, the stage is broken.
Yeah. But their argument was during their staff meeting, because it kept happening the day before, that it was the shooter's responsibility to activate the target. And I was like, I can't physically stop the match, fix the prop to activate it. That's a disadvantage for me.
You're gonna run out there and with your wrench in your back pocket that you carry with you all the time.
So the RO, he kept trying to argue with me, trying to make it sound like it was my fault. And I was like, well, get the match director, get whoever, but I'm talking to somebody. And then it just happened to be Manny. And Manny was so nonchalant about it. He was like, yeah, it's a reshoot. Okay, yeah. And then next thing you know, he walked back to the four-wheeler, came back with a power drill, and he fixed it. And it didn't happen again.
Yeah, Manny understands that stuff. I don't know why some ROs get that way sometimes, man.
Well, I mean, I wasn't mad at the RO for anything. I was just more along the lines of, he was probably a new CRO, and just taking commands instead of interpreting what was stated in association with the rules. He was just running with whoever said what, because probably higher knowledge than him, and I didn't hold it against him or anything, and I was just like, this is where understanding the sport and having knowledge with the rules played a part.
Sure. Oh, definitely. If you didn't know that, I mean, you would have just went along with what he said.
Exactly.
Potentially, if you were in the runnings for, first place in your division or whatever, it could have cost you that.
Right.
So understanding the rules and knowing, when you can, address stuff like that's great.
I think I was on a good squad because the squad was the main one arguing for me, and I had Mark Crowder, who was the match director for East Alabama Gun Club. He was on the squad, and it was one or two people from that area in Alabama, but pretty much the whole squad was all vocal for me. But they didn't get belligerent or anything like that towards the RO. They didn't gang up on them, but they just all kept telling me like, "Hey, you have nothing to worry about. Everybody's seen it." So I was like, all right, I appreciate that. And then
well, that's good too, because that's why we have our chain of command.
right.
There's no, if the RO and the shooter disagree, that's fine. Then you go to the CRO, and if there's still a disagreement, then you go to, you keep going up the ranks from there until someone is making the final decision on it. There's no reason to argue with anyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I think is great. But some people are how they are, and they still, want to get upset about it and raise their voice or whatever. But it doesn't need to be that way.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, but it was another learning lesson, something to put in the toolkit.
Yeah,
But
yeah, definitely.
when I put that video up, I didn't put it up out of spite. I put it up for a learning lesson for other people. And that was a two-way learning lesson. So if you are one who's interested in becoming an RO, okay, what should this RO have done to make the match more beneficial, according to the rules? If you're looking at it from a shooter who is coming into USPSA and they're shooting a division, okay, keep your
what
cool.
do you do in that situation? Yeah.
Keep your cool, wait to the end, because because if I would have stopped, put the gun in my holster, and once he would have said, okay, show clear, I wouldn't have got the reshoot because I stopped and the RO didn't stop me.
Right.
So, and it's just a learning lesson all around.
Yeah.
For everybody.
Yeah. Definitely beneficial to understand the rules. There are a lot of them, which is good. I mean, because it gives you a clear cut, idea of how to approach situations like that.
Yeah. So one thing else about North Carolina match I want to talk about, it seemed like it went fast. It was great stages, but it wasn't like we was there all day.
No, we definitely weren't.
Yeah, when we left there, we all went to that fantastic restaurant that when you first told me about it, I was like, I don't know, Dave. When I went there and ate,
I didn't know
like,
either.
Man.
I didn't know the first time I went either, but actually, I think we at least ate there twice, if not three times that weekend when we were there. The place was great.
I think you and Jason ate there 3 times because I only ate there once. Because I'm a very picky eater and I'm not big on barbecue. But once y'all said it had other stuff there, and I was like, okay, I'll try it out. But man, after leaving there, I was like, I'm gonna make it a purpose to go back to Charlotte, visit my uncle, just to go back up there and go to that restaurant.
So it is a barbecue restaurant, and North Carolina supposedly is where barbecue originated. I know there's people that will argue that all over the country. I don't know. That's just what they say in North Carolina. They created barbecue in that fashion, and a lot of it's kind of like vinegar based or whatever, but they have some fantastic food there. Regardless of it originated in the state or not, it was great.
You remember the name of that restaurant? Smoke Pit,
Smokehouse,
or
something to do with barbecue. Yeah, I don't know. Smokehouse.
I'll get the name of it and I'll put it in the show notes so everybody can go check it out. If
Everybody that is in the area needs to go there.
Or what you could do is go ahead and hit up Outdoor Dynamics on social media and ask them the name of that restaurant. He'll tell it to you.
All right, it was good. It was definitely
very good.
It's definitely worth going if you're nearby.
Oh yeah. So we're gonna have a interview conversation with the match directors for the 2021 South Carolina Sectional Championship that's coming up in April 30th through May 2nd. So that's going to be the conversation piece. And it's going to be kind of interesting because you don't just have one match director. You really have like 3.5 in a way I like to describe it.
I know one of them.
Yeah, actually, I know all 3.5 of them.
Hey, before we get too far off of NC section, I personally met the great Jay Beal, as Steve Anderson describes him.
Yes.
I know you guys knew each other before, but I've never met him.
Well, actually, we only knew each other from social media, and it was like
okay.
the bridge was between Steve and myself, Steve Anderson. So,
Okay.
but we
All
never met each other physically. But when I seen him, I was like, man, this guy looks familiar. Where do I know him from? And I'm starting to go through the Rolodex, and then he was like, hey, I know you. And then that's how it happened, you know? So, and I was like, yeah, well, good. We finally meet, you know? So that was a great.
Yeah, it was cool. He had a great match too, shooting carry
match.
optics.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, go check out Jay Bill on social media, and he has some great runs there in North Carolina shooting the carry optics division. And if you don't know, he is one of the people that Steve Anderson from AndersonShooting.com sponsors. Yep. But you have any other words you want to talk about before we go to this commercial break?
Well, we're going to get into the interview with the 2021 SC Section Championship match directors, which would be interesting.
Yes.
And I just want to thank Gun Butter, the Blue Bullets, Sharpshooters, and Hunters HD Gold for their sponsorship help and helping me continue with this game and do what I do.
Yeah. Now, outside of the one RO that was in Florida at the Area 6 match who was asking for the podcast to come back, now we have to tell Brian from Hunter HD Gold, Brian Conley, that the podcast is back, and hopefully we are fulfilling your listening pleasures while you travel from match to match.
Hey, I posted a little clip of you guys in the booth at was it Nationals?
That was at Nationals, yeah.
Yeah, he was trying to record a little promo thing or whatever. It was funny.
Well, the best part about that is if anybody happens to see that video on Dave's page, is that Brian was just down range recording the Super Squad, and he was down there for like 2 hours the whole time, no break or anything. So when we came back up, I was like listening to him talking. I was like, he's a little dehydrated. So I gave him a Powerade and just listening to him talk because, you know, he's high energy. And I was like, okay, he needs to calm down or he's about to pass out.
Something's wrong.
Yeah. So he was like, hey, I'll be right back. I got to go do this for somebody. And I was like, all right. So I went on ahead and took the gear back to the truck and unloaded the gear. And then we all met back up at his tent. But by then he had already sat down and got some fluid in him. And you could tell he was still on high wire, but he wasn't as bad as he was when I first seen him. Yeah.
Well, good. Brian's a good dude.
Yeah, but Brian, I do want to thank you for what you're doing for the sport of shooting. It means a lot, and your product is phenomenal, and it is helping out a lot of shooters in a big way.
It is.
Yes.
Definitely is.
Let's go ahead and head over to this commercial break and then come back for the interview, whereas Dave will be a part of this interview as well. So please stay in your seat and let's check out these words from our sponsors.
Hey, this is Hutch with Phoenix Trinity. You're listening to M-W Tactical Podcast.
What's up, good people? Thank you for taking the time and listening to the M-W Tactical Podcast. Please go visit the M-W Tactical store at www.m-wtactical.com/store and help support our efforts by purchasing a shirt or two. If you haven't done so, go follow us on Instagram and Facebook by searching for M-W Tactical.
The Gun Cleaners.
Our solvent is, I think, second to none. Our lube is second to none. Our lube's heavier than water, which is just a huge thing. People don't really put a lot of thought into that, just how huge that is to have on your gun, especially with concealed carry.
The Gun Cleaners.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
You know, you're going to sweat a lot of the other lubes off. With ours, it'll stay there.
The Gun Cleaners.
And maintaining the quality of the process, the quality of the end result, is another, and you guys are able to do both with the process that you have there.
Order your supply of the lube and the solvent at www.theguncleaners.com.
I'm Jason Pratt, Masterclass USPSA shooter, owner of Brass Monkey Bullets. If you're interested in competition bullets, visit www.brassmonkeybulletsllc.com or call me at 423-967-1063. For more information, my email is brassmonkeybulletsllc@gmail.com. Thank you.
All right, good people. We're back at it again. And this time, the conversation is with the match director for the 2021 South Carolina Sectional. Or should I just actually say the match directors for the South Carolina Sectional? So without further ado, I want to go ahead and introduce Todd Holmes, the mad scientist, Dave,
Okay.
and my buddy Lucky. So how's everyone doing? How's everyone?
Good.
Lucky,
Doing well, man. Doing well.
Lucky, you need to smile a little bit more when we have these conversations.
I'm always smiling, man. Always.
All right. So I want to go ahead and bring everybody up to speed as what's taking place with the 2021 South Carolina Sectional. And this time it's being ran a little bit different because technically we're going to have 3.5 match directors, but there's a lot of moving pieces that are in play right now. And right now I'm just sitting back, and this is like an educational level within the sport at the level I'm at right now. So I want to go around the room and then get everybody's take on how they feel the match is coming together, and then what should everybody expect. And we'll start off with you, Lucky.
Man, I've been very pleased. I know going into this, it was honored to have Belton come on board. They had a new young match director in Todd that's eager to learn and get things rolling there. So we knew he was going to need some assistance, and we awarded them the section match for the next 2 years. So this year we're going to use it as the four of us working together, and Todd kind of assisting us and learning as we move along. And next year we'll kind of flip roles, and Todd will take the lead, and we'll assist him as he builds his team. As far as my block, we kind of broke up in blocks, and I took on staff, and we kind of worked together in each thing, and it just alleviated some of the pressure off of each major block, and let us focus on our particular entity. So I've really enjoyed the process. Things are coming together well, way faster than I thought it would. We kind of got a late start with the club backing out due to some complications, and just honored, man, to have to work with such a good team and such good sponsors, and had an outpour of staff coming in. Still would love to have some more. We need about 15 more people. If you're interested in that, we'd love for you to reach out, to us through our Facebook page or our emails. Information will be out there for you to click on and contact us. We won't be turning anybody away that wants to help.
Hey, that's it right there. So now let me go ahead and move the mic to Todd, who is the official match director for USPSA at Belton as of now, but you're kind of in the co-pilot seat when it comes to doing the sectional for next year. What is your take, and how is your outlook on all this?
Well, I appreciate Lucky calling me old, 46 years young, but whatever. No, but we're good. Looking forward to working the match, working with a great team. Belton Gun Club's got a great facility. We got all the bays are rocked this year. We'll have our 6 competition bays. Plus, we're going to select the 4 other bays that we're going to use on a visit upcoming. They're all available for us, and we'll have a side match in the chrono. So we'll be utilizing 12 bays of the club. My block is really facilitating this year the Belton Gun Club facility, making sure everything is up and running, up to speed. The logistics are all perfect and all that, and learning from the team and working with the team as we put this together. I've had some past experiences running some bigger matches with doing the war match at the Belton Gun Club and everything, but learning the USPSA ins and outs and rules, along with becoming a new match director and having this team support me in that aspect and planning this match at the same time is a huge endeavor, and it's great to be a part of this team to do that.
Hey, well, first of all, I do want to commend you for stepping up to take the position of match director for Belton. That says a lot about you as a person, but at the same time, everybody who I've spoken with, especially the number of times I went to Belton to shoot, I think that is a fantastic facility, but you just jumped in with little experience, and it's like you got a lot of space to fill in the shoes for the people that are around you with neighboring clubs. So I want to commend you for taking that challenge on head on.
Yep, we'll do it, and we're going to do it well. And it takes a village to do these matches, as any match director is going to say. There's a good local team that all went and got their ROs with me that are going to help on setup, help on match day. So really, without them, I'm just the guy driving the bus. Without them, this match wouldn't be successful. And that goes for any club in any of the areas. So they're all greatly appreciated for that. So,
hey, spoken like a true leader. Now, my main man, of course, y'all just got finished hearing us talk not too long ago before the commercial breaks, but the mad scientist is working his scientifical stew. And I honestly think that is the hardest part, because you're doing all the technical stuff far as paperwork / computer stuff.
I think you just made up a word. It sounded pretty cool. Scientifical. I like it.
Hey, that's what we do. That's what we do. But what's your take on it and your outlook on it, Dave?
Yeah, so I'm glad we actually have the South Carolina state match in South Carolina for the next couple of years. That's a change in itself. We've had a little trouble finding ranges to step up and want to do it. It is a big undertaking. So, I can kind of understand why, but it's also a great opportunity for the club, for the range, for the area. So I'm glad that that Todd and his group, offered offered interest in a match, and they have a great range there. I've shot there a couple times, and I think it's going to be a great match. And we're gonna stick to a format that I think people in our area have grown to love. We're going to do the half-day format. So you're shooting a whole 10-stage major match in half a day, either AM or PM on a Saturday or a Sunday. So we're going to have smaller squads. It's going to be real similar to what you've seen at the North Carolina section matches or Georgia section matches the last couple of years. It seems to work really well for everyone involved. Really, the staff does your resetting of the stages, running the tablets, timers, that sort of thing. So shooters just come shoot and have a good time. But my block, I guess, I'm working with the registration through PractiScore and getting all that set up, and then I'm diving into the stage designs. Pretty deep there. We've got to get something going. I'm already started on it pretty well into it. I'm about halfway through all the stage stuff, but we'll get something submitted to USPSA for approval, and I'll be there on the range, putting these things on the ground.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to looking at the stage designs and actually building the stage designs, because of the fact just getting finished with the CRO course. Oh man, my imagination is wide open, and I'm just ready to learn a little bit more about, calling from a different, officiating a stage from a different perspective at a sectional match or state match. So I'm actually looking forward to it all in all. But even when you turn around and you look at it, my section, my little block that I have to do is just handle sponsorship. So for anybody who's listening, we do have a few slots left open for stage sponsors. And if you want to be a part of the South Carolina sectional match, hey, just hit us up at South Carolina Sectional Championship at gmail.com. And we'll get you a sponsorship packet and bring you aboard and watch all the fun everybody will have at this match.
Hey, Mike, real quick, man.
Yes.
You know, not quite such a little block. You're a little modest, man. That's one of the most important blocks we have. So definitely appreciate you looking out for us there. You've done an excellent job, man. We appreciate the podcast, appreciate all your hard work and diligence, as well as Dave and Todd. Man, I am honored to be the South Carolina section coordinator. We have such a great state, man, and so don't undersell yourself, man. You've done a great job of bringing on some of the top sponsors into business, man. We are honored to have them on the team, and you know, really encourage you guys to start looking at these sponsors as they're coming out, and spend your money with them, man. That's what it's all about. You know, these guys are going above and beyond to come on board and support what we love. So I encourage you to spend a couple dollars with them.
Yeah. Well, I do appreciate the kind words, but you know how it goes for me. I'm just doing something I really do enjoy. At the same time, when you look at everything that is taking place, what it comes down to is everybody enjoying the same level of fun in what we do, which is supporting the Second Amendment. We're all trying to be fast on the gun, some faster than others, but we're all doing what we enjoy. That's what the bottom line really comes down to.
That's right.
But we do want to go ahead and give a big thanks to Lead Star Arms and Palmetto State Armory for coming on as the title match sponsor, with Blazon, Akai, and Brazos coming on as the match sponsors, and Hunters HD Gold, Premier Hearing, Lucky Shot Firearms, Steel Target Paint, Shooters Connection, M-W Tactical, Barber's Training Solution, Soltac, Mark Pickett Steelworks, coming on as stage sponsors as of now, and Primary Arms as a contributor. So I think we're rocking and rolling right now as far as coming together with everybody making this match a success. So I do want to talk about, so everybody can get the gist of how this works. So the last 2 years, the match was at Low Country in Myrtle Beach, Battle at the Beach. This year and next year, it will be in Belton, South Carolina. So how do the different clubs get selected for a match of this caliber?
Oh, that's a good question, man. We really have people burning up the phone lines to do these matches. No, we're a little unique in South Carolina, man. We have some great clubs. Some really don't have the facilities and the bays to host a match of this size. So we're kind of limited really to 3 clubs. One of the clubs is Palmetto Gun Club. They're in a little transition right now, trying to get a new match director affiliated there to where we can start having matches there again. MCRC done it for many years and kind of got burnt out and needed a break. So we was at a loss for a while of having a club to do it, which is how we ended up in Low Country. And you know, so thankful to Mike Fritz and the Low Country crew for taking the match on for 2 years. We brought Belton on board roughly a year and a half, 2 years ago, as a asset to our state, man. They have a second to none facility. They have some awesome bays, awesome people there that run it. Great president. All in all, they're just great for the 2A community in general, whether you shoot USPSA, IDPA, trap and ski, whatever it may be, their facility will accommodate you. So when we brought them on board, they had a different match director, but their goal was always to get some of these level 2 matches. And going through the transition of Todd coming on board, and didn't think they was quite ready, but we was at a spot to where we didn't have a club to host it with, and was kind of left high and dry to where either we was going to have it at Belton or we was going to have to not have a match. So Todd suggested, hey man, let's work together as a team and get this thing done. So, you know, we're honored to have the opportunity to work with Belton and their team and the 4 of us of kind of bridging gaps where we can to make this, you know, the best level 2 match out there. We want to put together stages and a pleasant experience for the shooter to where they leave here with not only enjoy shooting the match, but just enjoy their weekend and exploring the area in Anderson and Greenwood, Greenville, and just have a pleasant weekend.
That's it right there. So, Todd, since you will be the official match director for the sectional for 2022, let me ask you, what is the more difficult challenge you had putting this match together as of now?
As of now, it's coming into a team that's been gelled together and learning how to communicate and how to talk and be a part of the team and can feel like I'm contributing, because you guys are all very well organized and it's just finding my feet under me. But I think we got a great team after the first couple meetings that I found my footing, and it's going forward and figuring out how we can make this best for the shooters. And I want to kind of hit on something David Lyell said with the half-day format and how this area of the country does that. There's people outside of this area looking in going, how do we duplicate what this area of the country is doing for our matches? And I've talked to some people taking some classes this last weekend where they're like, you guys do what? Seriously? These, and I listed off all the matches in this, the major matches in this area. And they're like, okay, we got to start going to those type thing. And these were people from 5, 6, 7, 10 hours out in some classes I took this weekend. So it's pretty awesome that this area is getting known for that.
Yeah, that's it right there. So, Dave, you and I talk regularly, and at the same time, you was the main one that was encouraging me to do more major matches. But one thing you always said to me was, do the major matches and your imagination will flow when it comes to stage designs, because it will open it up. But at the same time, you will have a lot of fun doing these matches as a shooter.
Yeah.
Now, off of the advice you gave me and you're setting up this match, do you look at it the same way?
Yes. But from the match director perspective, there's a little more to consider in addition to that. But yeah. I want stages to be unique and fun, entertaining for the shooters. But we have to be a little cautious with the complexity of some of the props. We can't get too carried away with some things that I might do at my local match, prop wise, to keep the stages robust. So, we don't have any prop failures or anything, and, make sure the match flows like we need it to.
Yeah, that's a good thing, but I would honestly say I think you might have to pull the reins then on Travis Pew Pew Crane a little bit.
Well, he's been a great asset to me at CSRA Shooters. He has been a tremendous help, and he brings a different design perspective that I don't have, which I think is cool. But yeah, he's aware.
Yeah. Now, Lucky and Todd, all three of us done a class this weekend. So Todd just got finished with the RO class, and Lucky and myself, we just got finished with the CRO class. Now, one thing I have determined after this weekend is the fact I will never take another class with Lucky again. Only because I cut up so much in that class. It's a wonder I learned anything walking out of it. Man, we cracked so many jokes in that class, man. It was, man, oh man. That was a video to be made right there.
Paul didn't reel him in.
Well, he was joining in on the cracking jokes. So that was the fun part about it. But from taking that class, the CRO class, and Lucky, the conversations you and I had when we was doing the hands-on portion as far as building the stages, and both of us picked up that a lot of people was going overboard with trying to meet and cater to certain rules. And I think our mindsets were the same. But are you going to go into the sectional with that same relaxed mentality, or are you going to turn it up a notch?
I think you have to turn it up a little bit just because of the level of competition and scrutiny that the section matches should have. Paul, he hit us pretty hard on some fault lines, kind of being crappy, different things of that nature. But you're dealing with a higher level of competition. The shooters are paying top dollar, and they deserve high quality stages. And that's all in the details. A high quality stage to me doesn't necessarily have to be some complex 10 activator stage, but what it should be is straight fault lines, no tripping hazards, safety for the shooter, easy to reset, flows well, it's fun. That's the kind of stuff that we want to make sure we're focusing on as a section. We want the match to be challenging for everybody, the GM shooter as well as the D-class shooter, but we also want it to be fun, safe, to where we can get people through there. And we want people to walk to our stages and say, hey, they put supreme effort in this. And we want to make sure not only does the stage function well, but it looks the part.
That's it right there. I totally agree with you. I don't think you need a lot of props to make the stage look cool. Something simple can make the stage look phenomenal. Just like at Nationals, they just put up the new classifiers for 2020, and the 3 that they put up were all basic stages, but I do believe those were the more fun stages for me at Nationals as well. So something easy can be a lot more complex than what you really think, so I totally agree with what you're saying.
When's registration opening?
Yes, that will be a great question right there. So when will registration for the South Carolina sectional taking place April 30th through May 2nd in Belton, South Carolina?
So registration will open November the 16th at 8 p.m. Cost of the match will be $150 per competitor with a $50 discount for junior shooters. We'll have an opportunity to purchase hats and t-shirts if you guys are interested in that. We'll have food vendors, hotel information, all will be on the sign-up link. And man, we are looking forward to continuing this great tradition that South Carolina's had over the past 5 to 6 years. Man, we've turned out some great matches and had some great competitions for some of the top shooters in the country.
That's it right there. So now, will the sign up be on match sign up or PractiScore?
Listen, you might make some people mad. I have no idea why we still do matches on match sign up. Maybe there's a good reason. I just don't know it. It will be on PractiScore.
So you can actually find the match on PractiScore right now. Registration is not officially open, but you search for 2021 SC Section Championship, and it'll show up there on PractiScore. Once registration opens, you'll be able to get in.
That's it. So head on over to Facebook and look up the Facebook page for the sectional. So if anybody wants to relay that information, feel free.
Yeah, the same information David just says, 2021 SC Sectional, or you can spell out South Carolina. It'll pull it up either way. There are 2 pages. We have a South Carolina section page, and we have a 2021 section championship page. You'll want to be on the section championship page to get all the latest information on the upcoming match.
All right. And then if anybody wants any more information pertaining to the match, far as sponsorship, or you just want to work, please email scsectionalchampionship@gmail.com. Anybody want to have any last words before we depart?
I'm gonna beat you at Toys for Tots, Mike.
I knew that was coming.
I can already tell you that's not going to happen, but okay. All right. But like we say, please head on over to Facebook, and we're working on an Instagram page right now for the South Carolina sectional. So all this information will be relayed on both entities, but head on over there, check out the information that's being put out. Videos will be coming soon, and I'm looking forward to a great match that is taking place in South Carolina, since it was at Myrtle Beach the past 2 years, and they had some great matches, and I'm hoping we'll be able to facilitate what they have put on to continue with the tradition moving forward. Last without least, I want to thank the committee, as I call it, for coming on to the M-W Tactical Podcast and talking about the South Carolina Sectional for a little bit. Todd, I do want to give you a big round of applause because I believe you are keeping the sport alive in that section of the state in Belton, South Carolina. So I commend you for what you're doing, man.
Appreciate
Lucky,
it, sir.
yeah, lucky. You're just lucky, and we will continue to crack jokes, but it is what it is. But I do, actually look up to you. By being the state coordinator, you do have a lot going on, and I believe a lot of people complain to you more than you actually take credit for, and a lot of people will be like, man, stop crying, but you actually resolve issues. So I do want to give you a big pat on the back for that as well.
Thanks, man. It's all part of the job, man. We enjoy it.
Right. And then my main man, Dave, I definitely got to give you 2 thumbs up because you take on some stressful stuff and don't even drop a bead of sweat. That's
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with me.
Yeah, man.
Got to be something wrong with me.
That's why you the mad scientist. That's all we can say. All right. So if y'all don't have anything else to say, I do want to thank y'all for coming on to the podcast, and we will be bringing you back on again before the match so we can get more information and what everybody will have to look forward to prior to April. All right. So without further ado, please stay in your seats, and here are a few words from our sponsors.
Are you in the market to purchase your first or next firearm, but find the atmosphere of a gun store intimidating, crowded, or uninviting? There's a way for you to purchase the gun you want while avoiding the crowds, the gruff salesmen, and the marked up prices that come with a brick and mortar gun store. The process is called a transfer, where the purchase is made at an online store and sent to a federally licensed middleman called an FFL, who processes the paperwork and background check for a firearm purchase. CAE Transfers is the FFL with the lowest transfer cost in the Midlands at only $20 or $15 with the presentation of a South Carolina concealed weapons permit and $10 for repeat customers. If you live in Columbia, South Carolina or its surrounding areas, choose CAE Transfers as your FFL during checkout and let me help you complete your online gun purchase. You can find and follow CAE Transfers online at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram using @CAE Transfers. Thank you for your business, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Hey, this is Brian Conley at Hunters HD Gold. If you've never tried Hunters HD Gold, then I challenge you to find me at a match next year. Go to the website under scheduled events, find out where I'm going to be. Come meet me in person and demo a pair for yourself. Find out why shooters across the United States are changing to Hunters HD Gold to get 43% more light to their eyes, better contrast, eyes that are not fatigued at the end of the day based on the colors that we use, and find out the real meaning of why they change so you don't have to. So check us out on our website, huntershdgold.com, and I look forward to seeing you at the range soon.
The Gun Cleaners.
Our solvent is, I think, second to none. Our lube is second to none. Our lube's heavier than water, which is just a huge thing. People don't really put a lot of thought into that, just how huge that is to have on your gun, especially with concealed carry.
The Gun Cleaners.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
You're going to sweat a lot of the other lubes off. With ours, it'll stay there.
The Gun Cleaners.
And maintaining the quality of the process, the quality of the end result is another, and you guys are able to do both with the process that you have there.
Order your supply of the lube and the solvent at www.theguncleaners.com.
Thank you for taking the time to hang out with us on the M-W Tactical Podcast. Remember, a new podcast comes out every Tuesday. If you can't wait for Tuesday, go listen to past episodes to catch up on what you missed. Make sure you visit www.m-wtactical.com and see what all is offered on the site, where you can even purchase M-W Tactical apparel. But please, go to our Facebook and Instagram page and follow us on our journey in the sport of competition shooting and the realm of the 2A community. Until next week, keep shooting, keep practicing, and have fun.